Hi, my name is Diana Sunshine, and I'm on the Coursera team that works closely with the University of Colorado Boulder. And I want to welcome you to today's launch preparation webinar for the Master of Science in Electrical Engineering. We're very excited because enrollment for this program opens on December 16th. That's next Monday for our next session, and classes will begin in January. First, I'd like everyone to get familiar with the Zoom interface. If you hover over the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a little chat box. And if you open that up, it would be great if everyone would just type in from where they're signing in from today. Typically, we get people from all around the world, and it's always exciting to see everybody. The other thing, while you're going into the chat, is to look at the Q&A. For the Q&A, we want to make sure that everyone holds their questions until the end of the presentation. And then after that, you can put your questions into the Q&A. And then we will go through all of those questions at the end of the presentation. So I'd also like to introduce you to our panel of experts. We have Bob Erickson, who is our department chair, the interim department chair. We have Gwen Robeson, who is the online program graduate advisor. And we have Abby Rose, who's our online program course coordinator. So I'd like to hand it over to you guys, and thank you so much.
We're so glad that you all have joined us today for this webinar. During the next hour, we're going to talk about some important dates that are coming up related to our January session, including which courses are going to be offered during that session. We're also going to discuss what to expect as a student in the MSEE on Coursera program. And then, as Diana mentioned, we will have time for some questions at the end. So we'll ask, as Diana mentioned, that you hold your questions until the end so that we anticipate that many of your questions will be answered during our presentation. The MSEE on Coursera is a very unique program in that it has performance-based admissions. We don't require letters of recommendation or an application or transcripts or test scores such as the TOEFL or the GRE in order to start our program. The program is 100% online. The lectures are recorded and the exams are proctored using a web interface. Courses have 4 to 6 weeks worth of content, and they live within an 8-week session. In that 8-week session, students can work at their own pace as long as all work is submitted by the deadline of that 8-week session. At the end of the 4-credit session, students are assigned a letter grade, which is then posted to your CU Boulder transcript. All students start as non-degree seeking students, and then by completing a 3 to 4 course pathway specialization, students are admitted with a 3.0 average or higher. Students are then admitted and considered degree seeking students. Our students earn the same credentials as those in the on-campus programs. There are no designations on the transcript, certificate, or diploma that indicate that it's an online program. And you will have earned a fully accredited master's degree or graduate certificate.
So we're very excited to be launching the program in January, and the enrollment for the first session in January opens next Monday, December 16th at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. There will be a link for enrollment on our website. We're fully opening the program, so there are no caps on enrollment. You will need to pay the tuition for the courses that you sign up for at the time that you enroll. And then our first 8-week session begins on January 13th of 2020 and will run for 8 weeks from that date.
Some of you might be familiar already with the non-credit platform on Coursera. This 4-credit session is unique in that it does not have the monthly subscription fee that you pay in the non-credit version on Coursera. So tuition is paid per credit hour rather than on a semester basis, which allows for maximum flexibility. And so you would pay per credit as you go. You can see that the tuition is $667 US per credit hour, which totals $20,010 for the full 30 credit master's degree. Some courses will also have additional software or hardware requirements, and more information can be found about those on the course description pages on the department website. The university currently accepts Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover cards to pay tuition. Once you have selected your course that you'd like to enroll in and you've paid your tuition, then you'll have access to the onboarding course, which is required before accessing the lecture materials. The onboarding course typically takes a few hours to complete. It is not graded, it's not reflected on your transcript in any way, but it's a great way to learn more about the program, more in-depth information, to learn more about the Coursera platform, and also it goes over the University of Colorado Boulder policies.
So as previously mentioned, our enrollment process or admissions process is based simply on performance. So there is no application, formal application or transcript or anything else required. Rather, you need to demonstrate to us that you can handle and adequately progress in the work. So to that end, what you must do to be admitted to the degree program is to complete one pathway specialization. So all of the courses within a designated pathway specialization with an overall grade point average of B, so 3.0 or higher. We also have certificates. You can enroll in a certificate without seeking admission to the degree. These certificates have requirements that are several courses or specializations, totaling 9 to 12 credit hours. And to earn the certificate, you must complete those courses with a 3.0 or higher grade point average within the certificate courses. We don't enforce prerequisite knowledge, but we do in these courses assume that you have background comparable to an undergraduate degree in electrical engineering or equivalent work experience. So if you're not sure whether you can handle the courses or not, we suggest you just try it out. And in fact, you can try out the non-credit version of a course and see how it goes. And if you see that you can handle the work, you can upgrade to the 4-credit version and your work will transfer into the 4-credit version. And then pursue the certificate or degree.
We've designed the program into focused, manageable topics to allow for flexibility and stackability to earn different credentials, such as the graduate certificate and/or the master's degree. You can see here on this diagram that credits can often range. They're divided into fractional credits, ranging from 0.6 credit hours to 1.2 credits per course. And then a specialization is typically made up of 3 to 4 courses, and a specialization is the equivalent to a 3-credit semester course here on campus. Students can complete the courses at their own pace within that 8-week session, as long as all work is submitted by the final end session date.
So each 4-credit course lives within an 8-week session, and we have 6 sessions scheduled throughout the year. This is different from the non-credit versions of the course that operate continuously. So you can upgrade at any time from non-credit to 4-credit and then be within an 8-week session for the 4-credit version. Courses used towards the master's degree have to be completed within 8 years of your master's degree. So the credit is valid only for 8 years. And to earn the degree, you must have an overall grade point average of at least B or 3.0. Here's a more detailed diagram of the admission process. So for a graduate certificate, you register for the first course, pay the tuition for that course, and then are enrolled into the course. You begin the designated sequence of courses for the graduate certificate. Again, these certificates are 9 to 12 credit hours. When you complete all of them in the designated certificate with a 3.0 or higher overall grade point average, then you will receive the CU Boulder certificate that is issued by our campus graduate school, and it will appear on your official university transcript. For the master's degree, it's similar, except to begin the degree, you must sign up for a pathway specialization. We have several of these designated. You must complete all of the courses in one of our pathway specializations and earn a grade point average of at least 3.0 over those courses of the specialization. When you do that successfully, then you are admitted to the degree program with no further requirements for admission. Then when you complete 30 credit hours with the 3.0 or higher grade point average, then you will receive the diploma for the Master of Science degree, and it will appear on your official university transcript as well. So this fall, we had a beta test limited launch where we offered 3 courses in an 8-week session. That session is concluding this week. We limited enrollment to 75 students per course, and we thank those students who were guinea pigs and willing to help us get the bugs out. We have been gathering feedback to optimize the student experience, and that is ending at the end of this week, and now we will launch for real the full program in the next session. So in January, we will offer 16 new courses in addition to the 3 that we already launched in the beta test session. So 19 different courses will be offered in January. We will further launch other courses in the following sessions throughout 2020, and we intend to build to a total of about 100 courses offered in this program. So here are the courses that we'll offer in January. So in the power electronics specialization, this is one of the pathway specializations that you can pursue for admission to the master's degree program. We have 3 of the 4 courses in the power electronics specialization will be offered for credit in January. And the 4th of those courses will be offered in the next session that starts in March. The embedding sensors and motors specialization is another pathway specialization in the embedded systems area. We will offer 2 of the courses of that specialization in January, and we will add the other 2 in March. So again, in March, all 4 of the pathway courses will be offered. Optical engineering is another pathway specialization. All 3 of the optical engineering courses will be available starting in January. We have a new pathway specialization in semiconductor devices comprised of 3 courses, and all 3 of those will be available starting in January. We will also launch the Developing Industrial Internet of Things specialization in January, and it's comprised of 3 courses. This is not a pathway specialization, but it has 3 courses and will be available. The Active Optical Devices specialization with its 3 courses will all be available in January. And then a specialization FPGA design for embedded systems. We'll have 2 courses for credit launching in January, with the 2nd courses available beginning in March. Okay, each of these 4-credit courses has a parallel non-credit course, and you're welcome to sign up for the non-credit version through Coursera if you like. And if you're not sure whether you can handle the material yet, then I suggest you try the non-credit version. And you can upgrade at any time from non-credit to 4-credit by upgrading and paying the tuition for the 4-credit version. The work that you do in the non-credit course on the homeworks will automatically transfer to the 4-credit version. Note that we don't refund the subscription fee for the non-credit course when you pay the tuition for the 4-credit course.
Currently, we're not able to accept any transfer credit into our program from another university or program. It might be possible, however, to transfer credits that you've earned in the MSEE on Coursera to another program or university at the discretion of the receiving institution. Due to the pioneering nature of this online program, we are not able at this time to offer any scholarships or financial aid. We do understand that cost is a consideration for everyone, and we have been able to greatly reduce the cost of tuition because it's online compared to our on-campus program. We understand that we understand that cost is a consideration, and so because this program is pay-as-you-go, you are able to spread it out as it works best for you. We're now ready to take questions. You'll notice that in Zoom there is a chat feature and then there's a Q&A feature, and we ask that you pose your questions in the Q&A feature, please.
So first question, can we take breaks between courses?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Okay.
You can sign up at your own pace. The only constraint is that if you want to earn the degree, you need to finish within 8 years.
I know some courses require expensive software. For example, I think the optical courses require ZMax, which costs a couple $1,000 for a license. Am I required to purchase this software, or is it supplied to me during the duration of the course at no cost?
It's supplied to you during the course at no cost.
On the January 2020 launch calendar, only one additional course in the Embedded Systems Pathway Specialization is listed, plus the original Embedding Sensors and Motors course. Is this a mistake? How should one progress forward to get admitted through that pathway? Should I pick a different pathway?
Well, you can sign up for the second course in January and complete it during that 8-week session. And then the final 2 courses will be available starting in the March session.
And there's no deadline by which a student needs to be admitted to the program. So we anticipate that most students will not be admitted into the degree seeking program until the March session at minimum, at the earliest.
Can I take more than one course per 8-week term?
You can. It's simply your judgment of what you can handle.
It might be a best practice in the first session to try out one course just to get a sense of the time commitment and workload. And then if you're able to complete that course in a short number of weeks and you still have time, say another 4 weeks, you could register for another course in that session, because enrollment will stay open through 6 weeks of the 8-week session.
My company does tuition reimbursement once the course has completed, and the student receives a grade of B or higher. That said, is there a way to defer the bill until the end of the class?
You have to pay when you enroll. You could, I guess, take the non-credit version, although you'll have to pay the much lower subscription fee for that, and then upgrade later during the session, the 8-week session.
This one sort of piggybacks off of that. To enroll, can I pay for one class and specialization, then the next, or must I pay for all three at once?
You pay by the course when you enroll for the course. So if you just enroll in the first course in the first session, that's the only thing you pay for.
Lab practicals are an essential component of any engineering course. I wish to confirm, will there be any form of lab practicals related activities offered in this course, or will the course be just theoretical, or will there be possibly virtual labs?
This is a challenge in teaching distance courses with this, this medium. We do have laboratory components of the embedded systems courses because the added, the added equipment is pretty inexpensive. So some of those courses require that you purchase an embedded system board from DigiKey at the cost of a few tens of dollars, and then there are experiments run on those boards. On the other hand, for other types of courses, our laboratory equipment costs tens of thousands of dollars per lab station, and it's not practical at this time. So we don't offer those courses through this program.
Will these fractional credit courses appear on the transcript for masters as individual courses? For example, I'd imagine 30 plus courses listed on the transcript once the MS is complete. Is this true?
Yes, that's true.
To enroll in the MSEE, do you need to complete all courses of a pathway specialization, or can I enroll after completing one course of a pathway specialization with a B or higher?
You'll be admitted to the degree program when you have completed all the courses of a pathway specialization with a B or higher. But you can start on the first course in January.
Essentially, all students will start as non-degree seeking students, and that's what we anticipate and welcome.
What if you get lost or stuck on something in the class? Are the professors open to questions? What other Coursera courses do you recommend for someone that has an intermediate level of EE understanding, physics undergrad?
So the courses have course facilitators who hold regular office hours by Zoom. And so we have a schedule that is posted in each course of when those office hours are, but there are multiple office hours distributed through each week for you to get individual help.
Can you audit an entire specialization course?
Well, yes, I would say that you would take the non-credit version.
If you take a class each session, how long would it take to reach the 30 credits needed for the degree?
One course per session. Let's see if I can do that math in my head. I think it's about 4.5 years.
Yes, you need 30 sessions, so that would be 4 years. Yeah.
Can I pursue a PhD with this degree?
This is a master's degree. It's not a PhD program.
If the student's wondering if it's a launching point for a PhD program, we anticipate that this is more of a professional master's program track. And since there's not a thesis, it would be dependent on the institution that you're considering for your PhD, but we would anticipate that no, this would not be a program that students would use as a launching point for a PhD.
Certainly you can apply to enter a PhD program along the way and be admitted, but this is not a direct track into that.
Is there a plan to release pathways for power systems and renewable energy?
Yes.
How does industrial IoT work if it's not considered a pathway? Does this still count for a certificate and/or master's degree?
It does count, both in certificate and in the master's degree. It's simply not the first course.
Is there going to be a faculty member available at all times to monitor the discussion forum on Coursera and answer questions?
Faculty are involved in the courses, but available at all times, what we have are the course facilitators.
Are the classes offered in January also offered in March? So only additional classes are offered each quarter?
That's correct. Once launched, we continue to offer those courses in following sessions.
After a student passes a pathway specialization, will they be able to receive an admission letter from the university that they are enrolled, or any document that proves that they are admitted to the program? This letter is to be used as proof of enrollment for applying to funding or student discounts, etc.
We have conversations about this in progress right now with the registrar's office, but I guess the answer is it's in process, in conversation.
When will the controls specialization become available?
We have it scheduled for summer, for the June session.
Is it possible to decide to join the full master's degree program after having got a graduate certificate?
Sure.
Yes, in fact, in earning that certificate, you probably will have gone through a pathway specialization along the way.
How are office hours handled? Is it a video chat?
Yes, it's through Zoom.
Is it possible to see detailed prerequisites for each course, like catalog, handbook, etc.?
The courses do list assumed prerequisite knowledge, but those prerequisites are not formally enforced. So the courses do list what knowledge, prerequisite knowledge is assumed.
What would you recommend as a time load per unit for people working 40+ hours a week in order to get company reimbursement?
I think the advice to start with one course and see how it goes is a good idea. And then you can judge for yourself after that, whether you can handle more.
It is possible someone can receive this master's without a bachelor's. Could this possibly negate the accreditation of this degree in the future?
No, we've gone through the accreditation process, including the performance-based admissions.
I live in South America, and I will need to purchase the boards from DigiKey and wait for all shipping and customs clearance time. Do you have the embedded FPGA boards listed already available for download?
Yes, it's on the website. If you look on the course description, well, there's a particular page called Software and Hardware Requirements, and it would be listed on that page.
Should you not perform well in a course, is it possible to retake the course and replace the grade?
So each course is repeatable once, and there is a grade replacement policy for students who have been admitted into the program to petition up to 6 credits for replacement. And the last attempt is the one that stands, whether it be higher or lower.
If I only enroll for one course within the January term and find that I finish it in only 3 weeks and have enough bandwidth to enroll into the subsequent course, can I still enroll in that subsequent course for the January term even though it is past January 13th?
That is a great question, and you can. Enrollment will stay open for 6 weeks within that 8-week session, so you could absolutely enroll later.
What Coursera courses do you recommend for someone that has an intermediate level of electrical engineering understanding and doesn't have an undergraduate degree in electrical engineering?
So this depends on the technical area that you're interested in. So for example, in power electronics, the prerequisite knowledge really is undergraduate circuits and electronics. For For embedded systems, the prerequisite knowledge is undergraduate programming, for example, C programming and digital logic. For the devices and optics areas, really the assumptions are basic undergraduate physics and electricity and magnetism.
Will you help in connecting graduates with employers?
Yes.
Well, our admitted students will have access to CU Career Services Handshake and also the Alumni Association. So there will be access to that.
Do students need to take final exam for each class? If yes, is that the same for non-credit class before upgrading it to 4-credit option?
Generally, each class will have a final exam. That final exam is not available in the non-credit version and is only to protect the integrity of the exams. It's only available in the 4-credit. Generally, there's also supplementary material, for example, practice exams that you can use as a study tool before you take the actual proctored final exam.
Do we pay tuition through the university or Coursera if enrolling in the master's program?
You'd pay the university tuition.
It is a 3.0 GPA on average, or it must be above 3.0 GPA for all the courses?
It must be above 2.0 for every course, at least a C, and then the overall average must be at least 3.0.
And then the 3.0 and the pathway specialization as well.
Can the professional certificate credits be transferred to MSEE program?
I'm not sure what the question is. Do the certificate, if you earn a certificate and you then you enroll in the master's degree, our master's degree program, yes, those certificate courses do count. And you can earn certificates along the way to earning the master's degree.
Please expand on the enrollment process for the non-credit version of the courses. Thank you.
You simply go to Coursera and sign up for the course. You will pay the Coursera subscription rate for the non-credit course, and there's nothing else.
Will there be any IC design classes, analog and digital?
We have analog IC design that is on the books that we're trying to develop. I can't say today exactly when it will start.
Online specializations seem to correspond to on-campus classes. I was told a total of 9 credits are transferable from the online MSEE toward a traditional on-campus MSEE. Why? Will the number of transferable credits increase in the future?
Courses transferred from this program to the on-campus are subject to the transfer credit policy of the campus. And so at the Boulder campus, currently, the standard is we allow up to 9 credit hours to be transferred. They do count as transfer courses. The courses are not necessarily the same as the on-campus semester-long courses, but generally they're at the same level and are very similar.
Is there another platform within the CU system that works alongside the Coursera platform, i.e. Compass, Canvas, etc.? Are there live sessions and a structured scheduled syllabus?
The campus uses Canvas currently for on-campus regular courses. We're not using Canvas for this program, and instead we're using Coursera with its asynchronous capabilities.
Within Coursera, they do have discussion forum capabilities, and We'll use the Zoom platform for the live office hour sessions. And yes, there is a structured syllabus that is part of the onboarding course.
I have a BS in mechanical engineering, and I want to make sure I don't get stuck on EE topics I didn't cover in undergrad. Could I audit the credited specializations and then pay tuition later to receive credit?
Yes, I think you should be able to handle the material, but to make sure it's a good idea, what you propose. And the way to do that is to sign up for the non-credit version through Coursera and see how it goes. And yes, again, you can upgrade from the non-credit version into the for-credit version up until the last 2 weeks of the for-credit session.
Do foreign students need to produce any English language certificate?
We do not require any sort of language test scores.
What are the next pathway specializations expected to be released?
There are 5 pathway specializations at this time. So let's see, how many of them are?
So we have power electronics, embedding sensors and motors, optical engineering, and semiconductor devices are all launching in January.
I'm drawing a blank on what the 5th one is.
Yeah, what is the 5th one?
There is a 5th one. If you look on the graduate degree website, on our department website, it lists all 5 pathway specializations there.
Once enrolled in the MSEE, will we receive student ID numbers? And what is the enrollment process into the degree program? Will this be through the registrar's office at UC Boulder?
So yes, you will receive a campus, what we call an identikey, which gets you into the campus computer systems. And it is actually automatic. So doesn't require that the registrar manually do anything, but you get full access to the campus. And you have a campus record through our campus registrar.
What were some of the issues you encountered and/or resolved during the beta phase of this program?
There were no issues.
It did run very well. I think the way the proctored exams work has been something that we're resolving and that will be corrected by January.
The traditional CU Boulder Power Electronics Certificate had a course on resonant converters. Is there a plan to have this be a specialization on Coursera?
There is. I can't tell you when, unfortunately. We will have the second course of that specialization launching in the second session, which would be in March. And when the third course on resonant converters will launch, I can't say, but I think it would be probably early fall.
I'm not sure I understand correctly. What is the advantage of doing this Coursera track instead of taking the classes online through CU itself? Is there a cost advantage?
There is a cost advantage and there's an availability and flexibility advantage. So for example, for the power electronics certificate, on campus we offer the first course every fall semester, and we offer the second and third courses in alternate spring semesters. So it takes 2 years before all 3 courses have been offered. Whereas on Coursera, we have 6 sessions every year, and once a course launches, it's available every session. So there's much greater flexibility, and there's also much lower cost.
Do we get a student email address through the school?
Yes.
I found another MS program, Data Science from Boulder, with launch date targeting January 2021. Can we take some credits from that program after it's available, say as a minor, towards the MSEE degree? If yes, what's the limit of the credits?
So I don't know when that program actually will launch. Currently, we have no, I guess I don't have information to answer that. I would say today the only courses that are applicable are the ones offered by electrical engineering.
Could you talk a bit about ProctorU, its requirements, technical or otherwise, and the logistics of exams and verification requirements?
I don't know if I know all the details of the requirements. I can talk broad.
So you need an Ethernet connection that works, or internet connection that works, and you need a laptop that has a microphone and a camera. Before you sign up for the ProctorU exam, there is a page that gives instructions on how to set up your computer so it will work. The cost of ProctorU is included in the cost of the course. You don't have to pay extra, and you need to sign up to reserve a time. Generally, the exams are 2-hour timed exams, so you need to reserve a time ahead of time. We require 72 hours in advance to make an appointment. And then when your time comes, the ProctorU technician sets you up and turns on the exam. We try to make the ProctorU exams be similar to the Coursera homeworks that you've already done, so it's a similar kind of format.
How much additional coursework is required to transition from the non-credit version to the credit version of the course?
We generally the basic modules of the non-credit and for-credit courses are the same, and additional material in the for-credit course generally is the proctored exam and then some preparatory materials such as practice exams.
Are book and research paper access provided by the university and for all courses?
Students do have access to the electronic library. What else besides books?
In research paper access. But there's a follow-up that asks if they receive access to the library, such as online ebooks.
So yes, when you get the campus identity, which is your password, then you have access to the university library. And generally none of us go there anymore to get physical books. We all just use the e-library. We generally don't require that you pay for textbooks in addition, for the course, and generally all of the material that's available online is all you need.
Are there any books to review as a refresher on core concepts that you would recommend?
There are. In fact, there is a website that we have posted on our main page that is under the first FAQ about the prerequisite question, and it has a link there to open free textbooks that you are welcome to review.
I took a few courses on Coursera, and some of them had many errors and wrong answers on the quizzes and tests with no support from the course institution, which was very frustrating. Will this program continuously monitor and support and correct these errors?
Yes.
Yes, and we have course facilitators assigned to every course. We have a way to identify problems and quickly address them.
Once you enroll, you must finish the course in 1 year. Did I understand correctly? Or you have more time, and if yes, how much?
The courses any course that you enroll in needs to be completed in that 8-week session. If by course you mean the program, the degree as a whole, then no, there's that 1 year limit is not applicable. There's an 8-year window by which the entire degree would need to be earned.
Many courses recommend 4 to 5 weeks for completion. If I finish a course in 5 weeks and wish to proceed onto the next course immediately, does that mean I only have 3 weeks left in the initial 8-week session to finish that second course? Otherwise, would I have to wait for the 8-week session to conclude before proceeding onto the next course?
Generally, yes. I guess the only other thing that you might want to do is you could sign up for the non-credit version and pay the subscription rate so that you can get started on the next course during those 3 weeks. And then when the next session starts, you could upgrade to the 4-credit version and your work would transfer.
I graduated with a BS in physics. I am working as a power electronics engineer right now. My company wants to pay for me to take courses on power electronics. I read about half of Mr. Erickson's book before I was hired. This is my experience in the EE. What course plan could you suggest for me in order to complete this degree in a timely fashion and not get too stressed out?
Sounds great to me. I think you can, if you're worried about getting stressed out, I'd suggest try the non-credit first course, and you could do that now, and see how it goes. If there is missing background material, then taking courses in circuits and electronics. There are some offered on Coursera and other platforms for review of undergraduate circuits and electronics. But with your experience and background, I think you have a good shot at just going into the program.
Will writing papers be required in the courses, or is it mainly practical coursework?
Generally, it's practical coursework and not writing papers. Some courses have projects, but they are practical.
Can we assume University of Colorado is committing on keeping this program alive for the next 8 years?
I can't say what some administrator will decide 8 years from now, but certainly everything I see is that the university has made a very significant investment to develop this program, and I don't think that the university is going to turn it off anytime in the near future.
Is the facilitator to student ratio tuned and capable of adequately supporting students by responding to questions within 12 hours?
I think it is. Do you think it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I hope that they do, but that's yes.
So we have the ability to add more facilitators if we need to. So far, I think in our beta runs, the number of facilitators has been good. Yeah.
What would the process be for getting a homework question reviewed? I took one class on Coursera to take a look, and I was off on an answer by 0.002 W, but it was somewhat subjective using an average steady state reading from a simulation.
So what was the question?
What would the process be for getting a homework question reviewed? Based on what?
Talk to the course facilitator.
It can probably be flagged in the Coursera platform as something that they would request it to be reviewed, or to send a message to the course facilitator.
I took the sensors class online. Where is the best place to leave feedback for this course?
The course has
If it's the non-credit version, I would say through the Coursera, there's a little help center that would probably be a good place to leave it. If it's through our 4-credit, then contacting us through MSEE-support would probably be the best place to give feedback.
When will the new version of Dr. Erickson's book, Fundamentals of Power Electronics, be available for purchase?
I'm really working hard on it. I was working this morning. The index is taking forever. So it's really close. We've been saying January of 2020, which is only a few weeks from now. Of course, that's when we would hope to send it to the publisher, and then the publisher has their process to get it printed. So I still hope it's sometime in 2020 when the publisher will offer it for sale.
Is the tuition cost per credit expected to increase in the future?
The university regents can vote to change the tuition. I don't see it changing in the next year or two. Beyond that, it's possible it could go up, it's possible it could go down. I don't know.
How many of your beta fall 2019 students passed the classes? Conversely, how many people failed, and out of what total number?
The beta session is not over. It finishes this Friday at midnight. So I don't know. We have a lot of students signed up right now to take the proctored exam in the next several days. So we all are anxiously awaiting the answer to that question.
Do you anticipate adding specializations in telecom, networking, communications?
Yes. So our first one, digital communication specialization, we intend to launch in March. And we have other courses in that area that are scheduled for, let's see, the June and the, let's see, May and July.
On your FAQ webpage, the responses states, since the online MSEE program is independent from the on-campus programs, online MSEE students will not have access to campus facilities. Please clarify if we will or will not have access to the on-campus library or other facilities if local.
Students in this program don't pay any of the fees that on-campus students do, so the on-campus facilities such as the recreation center or other things like that, our online students would not have access to. But the library, I would imagine, well, I'm not sure. I know for certain students would have access to the online database in the library.
So the e-version of the library, there will be access. I believe the software that the campus offers, you'll have an identity key, so you have access to that. And the career services.
I am a prospective student for January 2020, and my company is asking for a description of the classes, and I don't see it online. I only see it for other branches of the program. I'm looking for the power electronics course description.
On the Coursera website?
So I believe courses that have been, the 4 credit courses that have been turned on become visible. The ones that aren't turned on yet probably are not visible.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe on Monday when the enrollment page launches, that each course that's going to be offered will have a link out to the course description, and that would be a place that you could access it.
And these courses won't close, so they'll remain open for enrollment up until 2 weeks before the end of the session.
For the 8-week session for each course, do we need to submit homework every week, or as long as I submit all of the homework before the completion date of the session?
So the second is what's required. You must submit all of the work by the end of the session. Coursera will prompt you to try to keep you on a schedule to do 1 module per week. but it's recommended and not required.
To follow, from your beta fall 2019 students, how many of them had non-engineering backgrounds out of how many students?
We believe they're generally all engineering backgrounds or technical backgrounds.
How often do you have enrollment windows, and when is the next one?
So moving forward from January, we'll have an enrollment window that will open 2 weeks prior to every session, and sessions start every 8 weeks. So this session is a little bit unique in that enrollment opens December 16th for our session that begins January 13th. So there's a bit more of a lead time, more like a month, but moving forward after this one, enrollment will open 2 weeks prior to each session, and the sessions start every 8 weeks.
So it's like this next session will start March 9th. So enrollment would start 2 weeks before that.
When do you anticipate the control and renewable new courses be released on Coursera?
We anticipate around 2021, we would imagine, next year.
How often do you plan to add new specializations during 2020?
We have a plan for launching let's see, 4 specializations in March, 3 specializations in May, and 5 specializations in June.
Or July.
Or July, yes. And each of those is 3 or 4 courses generally.
Aside from my personal goals, what do you foresee your students to achieve academically and prosper in their professional career ladder?
I think this is an opportunity to take courses that fill in background that you didn't get, say, as an undergrad or in your earlier experience. We have courses that are much more convenient and easier to sign up for. So, for example, if you have a job in a certain area and you need to fill in background in electrical engineering, we hope that we can offer worthwhile courses that are available nearly immediately on tap that you can take, and they're in a wide variety of the subdisciplines of electrical engineering.
And last question, would there be any course related to robotics, control, and automation?
So we do have control courses in the works. The first one is in the June or July launch. And we'll go from there.
Great. This was an amazing webinar today. Lots of great questions. Obviously, a lot of people who are interested in enrolling in the program starting Monday. So remember that the enrollment period opens at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we look forward to seeing your enrollments. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful evening, morning, day from wherever you're dialing in from today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.